Patrick Beatty Reviews, the #1 for news. It's Patrick Beatty Reviews, #1 for news. Yeah. Tune in, get up. Yeah, what's up?
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What is up, my gaggle of geeks, and welcome to my review and my review with LCScreenTalk, Larry's review of In the Heights. We are here going to be talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda's, I believe it was first Broadway musical. And yeah, Larry, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for inviting me and having me on to talk about this film.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you. So you knew about Hamilton probably going into this.
Yeah.
Did you have any background as far as In the Heights goes, or did you know much about it before going into it?
Not really. I have to admit, I'm not a big musical person overall.
Oh, snap.
So I don't see a lot of big Broadway musical type of productions, and even with films, I'm like, okay, yeah. So
I'm excited to hear your take on this. LCScreenTalk, you can check out on YouTube and Twitter and everything. How long have you been doing this for, and what made you get started with, film reviews? I'm always curious what movie kind of activated critics.
Yeah, so it's been pretty much right after college, like 2015-ish, I started to just film stuff. So it's been a while now. And it basically was me being like, I go to the movies and I see everything pretty much. So why not just film my thoughts on them afterwards? So it wasn't necessarily a specific film or any sort.
No. Do you have an early review that you remember?
I'm sorry?
Do you have like an early review that you remember where it was just like, I definitely needed to get my thoughts out on this? Like one of the first like passion reviews, Yeah,
I know. I'm so lame. It was.
You're not lame. I was trying to take you back to the love at the beginning.
I was so anticlimactic. It was like literally just, hey, this is something you do all the time and you love movies. Why not just start talking about them? I didn't have if I had come along a little bit later, it probably would have been Game of Thrones, and my channel may have looked different because I would have come on very impassioned over the final season of that show. But film-wise, no, there was no rant or love that I can remember early on, to be honest.
That's okay.
Yeah.
This was a little anticlimactic. I'm not gonna lie, Larry. Man.
I know.
The question's ruined. You destroyed the whole thing.
Just boring.
You know what, though? You're not boring. First, what I was saying before we started recording is your intros to all of your reviews are always so unique, creative, and to the point, which with most film critics, sometimes there's a channel that does a 5-minute introduction where they spend so much time doing it, but yours has so much of a unique punch to it that I click on all of your reviews just to watch the intro every time.
Oh, thank you.
So yes, please go and check him out. Let's get started. In the Heights with Lin-Manuel Miranda. I heard of In the Heights. I gotta admit, I was a musical guy in high school, and maybe
I was in a couple
once
of
out
them.
of high school. You were? What were you in?
My main production was The Music Man, but I was.
What were you in that?
I was the mayor, so I didn't.
I was Charlie Cowell.
I did not have to sing because I'm not a singer by any means. So I was like, what's the biggest role I can audition for that does not have any sort of solo song?
Yeah.
And it was the mayor. And let's be real, I can do staunchy, grumpy old man. That's my lane.
Nice.
So yeah.
No, that's so funny. I did The Music Man. I think that was either my first one where I actually had a part, and the other ones I was just in the chorus or in the background, like I was a tree or something like that. But they made me the anvil salesman. It's like, what a weird character, right? Do you remember that, where there was that whole train thing at the beginning?
Yes.
And the director made us have to literally do this, we were on the train. It was absurd. High school. But I would remember going through what were all the Broadway musicals and try to get inspired with stuff. And I remember 96,000 was the song that I would always be listening to when it was in high school. So once I knew Hamilton and was of course obsessed with everybody else was, In the Heights was kind of tentatively greenlit to come in to the silver screen. And yeah, I had a really good time with it, but I want to know what you thought about it first.
Yeah, so have you seen like any recorded production or live production of In the Heights?
Honestly, I kept myself very distant from it. I just listened to the music that I had, and I think it was just one or two songs, and then from there, it kind of drifted away. And then Hamilton came in, and then I went right back into stuff, but I never went back to In the Heights until just now.
I knew of it once Lin-Manuel Miranda kind of started becoming prominent, simply because it was his breakthrough production, basically, that led to him getting Hamilton. And obviously this one is much more rooted in his culture and kind of his own experiences brought to life in a fantastical way in the Heights. And once I saw the trailer, I was really excited, even though, you know, musicals again are very hit or miss for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a film all about celebrating Latinx cultures. So instantly that just made me excited. And I really enjoyed the film. I think parts of it definitely go down the musical routes that made it feel a little bit long in aspects. And it is almost 2.5 hours, I believe, which in live Broadway, live theater is not that long. But when it comes to
you
film,
get an intermission too, don't you?
Yes,
like,
you get an intermission.
You get some time to go to the bathroom and hang out. So if it was only digital, I guess there'd be that. But
yes, so I was excited. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a big, beautiful, fun celebration film.
It really, like, celebration is the perfect way to describe this movie, particularly when it came to just the celebration of culture, the celebration of just community in general, like living in a small area where our main character in this, played by Anthony Ramos, he was played by Lin-Manuel Miranda in the Broadway show, but I think Anthony Ramos did take over too. I did check some stuff later, like after seeing the movie, and did notice that he was in it still, and there's a couple other people, but he plays this bodega owner who basically is the center point of everyone in this now crap, I'm forgetting it, Washington Heights.
Washington Heights, yeah.
And so they all appear at this opening number, kind of give their spiel of what they're doing in some musical, fantastical way, like what you're saying. And you get this really like, I can't necessarily say it's authentic because I don't know for sure on my side, but it just felt so true and packed with love, you know, and respect for what they were doing. Not necessarily, I mean, I don't mean to dog Steven Spielberg with West Side Story, but doesn't that just feel like it's just gonna have a weird like a veil between it?
Yeah.
A veil of maybe I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. But no, I can't say that. It's Steven Spielberg, and I'm gonna get in trouble. But I think Lin-Manuel and the director John M. Chu, who did Hamilton too, right? Didn't he direct the live stage Hamilton?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, they do an incredible job with transferring what you see on the stage onto this, and making the movie magic kind of matter in the moments when they do. I guess we can get into a little bit of spoilers, but I won't spoil too much. There's a dance sequence at the end where they kind of go Inception and start dancing on the side of a building.
And that's a poster and part of the trailer. So
not necessarily a spoiler, but to say it's in the end.
You've seen a little bit. You've seen a little bit of it.
It's so beautiful though, right? I was worried the CG would be a little too janky, but it ended up kind of pulling itself out and working well.
And that's the thing with John M. Chu. He really brought a visual flair to this film. It is a gorgeous film. It's beautifully filmed. The cinematography is also stunning, but it's those kind of creative decisions like the Inception wall moment or the different ways he shoots the big musical numbers and gets them is stunning. And I think that's what you want when you get a silver screen adaptation of a stage play or even a show or a book. You want that cinematic atmosphere, and I think this film really brought that to life.
Absolutely. And not only that,